The sun beats down on crack asphalt. The slow and grinding final fall of a world that tried to put us in a cage. We turned a new and different page. This family's born of grease and steel. The only thing I know that's real. Our church is just an open road to lighten our own heavy load. The eagle on my leather vest has put my loyalty to the test 1,000 times, 1,000 miles through all the fake and plastic smiles of a straight world of 9 to 5. We're the only ones who feel alive. They see the pain, they see the beer, the very theft fathers fear. They do not see the code we keep, while all their sleeping children sleep a different kind of sacred vow. This is the song of chrome and creed, the harvest of a rebel seed, a brotherhood of gas and oil on this forgotten sunburned soil. Chrome and creed, a final stand, the wildest hearts in this whole land. We ride as one, or not at all, the answer to the highway's call. And the only king we serve is the wind. The prayers as old as hands are warm, from long before I had been born. He built this club from sweat and dust, a sacred and a broken trust. In a world that had no place for him, on a dark and self-destructive whim, he saw freedom pure and deep, a promise that his soul could keep. I am his brain, his steady hand, the future of this broken band. I read the maps, I plan to run beneath the cold and dying sun. I keep the wolves outside the gate and seal arrival chapters fade. He is the heart and I'm the mind, the best damn partnership you'll find. He keeps the faith, I keep us safe in this beautiful and damned embrace. This is a song of chrome and creed, the harvest of a rebel seed, a brotherhood of gas and oil on this forgotten sunburned soil. Chrome and creed, a final stand, the wildest hearts in this whole land. We ride as one, or not at all, the answer to the highway's call. And the only king we serve is the wind. But there's a whisper in the ranks among the young and thankless blanks. They see the creed as just a case, they wanna turn a different page, a page of profit, not a pride, with nowhere left for us to hide. The times are changing fast and mean the most effective unseen. The creed is old, the chrome is bright, a storm is coming in the night. It's coming fast. His name is Rook, his eyes are fire, fuel of pure and raw desire. He wasn't born of dust and road. He doesn't feel the heavy load of all the years and all the fights. Through all the long and lonely nights, he sees the patch as just a brand, the strongest in this broken land. A tool for profit, not for pride. The raging beast he keeps inside wants more than freedom, wants it all. Before the final hammer falls, he talks and whispers, makes his deals. The kind of wound that never heals. Ain't meets with man in shiny cars, in quiet unfamiliar bars. He's selling out our creed and name for a part in a much bigger game. A game of powder, not of steel. This is a young Rook's Gambit, roll of dice. He's willing to pay any price. He's trading brotherhood for gold, a story that is getting old. The young Rook's Gambit, a sharp new sound on this once was sacred, hallowed ground. He's building his own house of cards, with no regrets and no regards for the old king who gave him his own way. He brings in money fast and clean, the most effective unseen scene. The younger members, they all cheer. They banish every trace of fear. They see the future in his eyes, his quick and his effective lies. They're tired of the open road, the heavy and the patient load. They want the comfort, want the prize. Beneath these hot and angry skies, the press just watches, shakes his head for all the bitter words unsaid. He sees the cancer, sees the rot, the one true battle to be fought. And I am caught right in between the man I am, the man I've been, the loyal son, the weary priest, the calming of the savage beast, or the release. This is a young Rook's Gambit, a roll of dice. He's willing to pay any price. He's trading brotherhood for gold, a story that is getting old. The young Rook's Gambit, a sharp new sound on this once was sacred, hallowed ground. He's building his own house of cards, with no regrets and no regards for the old king who gave him his own wings. I confront him, try to make him see the man he swore that he would be. He just looks at me with a cold smile. Preacher, you've been out of style. This isn't about freedom anymore. This is a settling of a score, with a war that left us in the dust, and profit not the wind we trust. The gambit's made, the lines are drawn, waiting for the bloody dawn. The Rook is taking out the king. clubhouse air is thick with dread. The words are better left as unsaid. The vote is called, a show of hands, the shifting of the desert sands. Rook stands up tall, his voice is clear, the source of all their hope and fear. He speaks of progress, speaks of might, in the pale and unforgiving light. The president silent in his chair, a lion sleeping in his lair. He doesn't fight, he doesn't plead, he knows he's planted his last seed. Their hands go up, a forest dark, the ending of a hopeful spark. The vote is passed, the changes are made, a bloody brutal serenade. I am the only one who stands with empty and with loyal hands beside the old man. And the king is dead. Long live the king. The chaos that the currents bring, a bitter and a hostile coup for the loyal and the trusted few. The king is dead. Long live the king. I hear the hollow church bells ring. They take his patch, they take his crown. The most respected man in town is now a ghost in his own home. They found him later in the night, a stage and end, pathetic fight, a rival knife, or so they'll say, at the ending of a weary day. But I know Rook's cold hand was there, in the cold and unforgiving air. I see the look, I see the lie beneath this cold and empty sky. He didn't just take the old man's place, he wiped him from this time and space. He broke the one and only rule: you don't just play a man for a fool. Give him honor in his fall. Now there's no honor left at all. Offers me a hand to shake for my own damn and bloody sake. He says, we need you, preacher, we need your brain to navigate the coming rain. I look at his hand and I see red, and the king is dead. Long live the king. The chaos that the currents bring, a bitter and a hostile coup for the loyal and the trusted few. The king is dead. Long live the king. I hear the hollow church bells ring. They take his patch, they take his crown. The most respected man in town is now a ghost in his own home. I have a choice to walk away and live to fight another day, or to stay here and play the game and whisper out the old king's name and burn this whole damn thing to the ground without a single goddamn sound. My choice is made, my path is clear. The end is getting very near for him. Long live the king. The false one, the pretender, the first and last and only sender of his own soul to hell. I play the part of nine after a long and quiet while. I take the rook's extended hand, the new king of earth. I am the Lord on this cold and lonely. Our plan is runs, I'm the biggest deal. Yeah. Is the one you hide in plain sight beneath the pale and the buzzing light. I am a serpent in the net whose put his anger to the test. I am not fighting with my fist, a ghost that they say don't exist. I use his greed, I use his pride, the raging beast he keeps inside. I let him think he's in control while I am digging out a hole right under his throne. This is a preacher's war, quiet cut. It's all the doors that they can't shut. A war whispers not of might in the long and unforgiving night. The preacher's war, a patient game to clear a good and honest name. I'll use their rules, I'll use their code to lighten my own heavy load and watch the new king lose it all. I send a shipment, just a bit of the product that will never hit the streets. I send it to a rival's door, the settling of an ancient score that Rook has made, that Rook has planned. The future of this broken band. I leak the details of a meet on a lonely and forgotten street. I turn his soldiers one by one beneath the cold and dying sun, with promises of an old way, of a new and more respectful day. I am the cancer in his veins, the coming of the cleansing rains. This is the preacher's war, quiet cut. It's all the doors that they can't shut, can't shut. The war whispers not of might in the long and unforgiving night. The preacher's war, a patient game to clear a good and honest name. I'll use their rules, I'll use their code to lighten my own heavy load and watch the new king lose it all. He's building an empire made of cash, a quick and unforgiving flesh, but our foundation was of blood, a slow and unrelenting flood of brotherhood, of sacrifice. You don't just get to roll the dice. With a thing like that, there is a price, and I'm the one who's come to make him pay it twice. The preacher's praying for a final fall. The writing's on the goddamn wall, and the sermon about to begin. The call comes in, arrivals hit, the dying of a candle lit by Rook's own hand, by Rook's own pride, with nowhere left for him to hide. The war is on, the truce is dead. From all the foolish words he said, he calls a club, we ride tonight beneath a pale and angry light. He wants his vengeance, he wants his blood, a slow and unrelenting flood. He doesn't know he's riding straight into the jaws of his own fate. The meat he's playing, the desert plain, is a shelter from a coming rain of bullets, fire, and of steel. The only thing he thinks is real. I planned the route, I drew the map, a beautifully constructed trap, not for the rivals, but for him, on a dark and self-destructive whim. And we're riding 100 miles of hate to seal a young king's bloody fate. The engines scream a brutal sound on this unholy killing ground. 100 miles of hate and back on a lonely and a faded track. Tonight the Rook will finally learn, for every single bridge you burn, you light the path for your own ghost. The bikes fly down the blacktop seams, a funeral of 1,000 dreams. We ride in formation, tight and fast, a shadow that is built to last. I ride beside him, close and near, the source of all his doubt and fear. If he but knew, if he could see the monster that is riding free. Right next to him, the preacher's dead. The words inside my weary head are not of peace, are not of grace, in this God-forsaken, awful place. I am the shepherd leading all my sheep, a promise that the desert's gonna keep. We're riding 100 miles of hate to seal a young king's bloody fate. The engines scream a brutal sound on this unholy killing ground. 100 miles of hate and back on a lonely and a faded track. Tonight the Rook will finally learn, for every single bridge you burn, you light the path for your own ghost. And I'm the one who lead the prayer in the cold and unforgiving air. The engines roar, the settling of a final score, almost there. Almost there. The amber haze, a flash of light, the tears apart the endless night. Your rival chapter, strong, fast. shadow from a different past. The bikes go down, almost grace. The final love of giving shapes of men and metal, twist and broke. A final bitter whispered joke. Rook is surrounded, full of rage, trapped inside a burning cage of his own making, his own pride. He's got nowhere left to run right. He fights like a corner wolf, see, a final brutal parody of the warrior you wished he could be. And I'm out. His men are falling one by one. His short and celebrated run is over now. He stands alone upon his cold and bloody throne of record. And the Blacktop King is dead. From all the foolish words he said, he died for profit, not for creed. The harvest of a poison seed. The Blacktop King is dead. Long live the ghost, the one that he will fear the most. The preacher's praying over him on a dark and self-destructive whim as the gunfire slowly fades away. I watch it all from a high ridge, a lonely end, a bitter bridge between the battle and the dawn. The pieces of a broken pawn. This was my plan, my grim design. This war was absolutely mine. I let the rivals do the work where all the darkest monsters lurk. I gave them time, I gave them place to wipe the smile right off his face. I didn't pull a trigger still, but this damn death is what I feel. On my own hands, in my own soul, the loss of all my self-control. I didn't want to be a king, the chaos that the currents bring. He's just a boy who lost his way at the ending of this weary day. He chose the gold, I chose the blood, a slow and unrelenting flood, and we both drowned. And the Blacktop King is dead. From all the foolish words he said, he died for profit, not for greed. The harvest of a poison seed. The Blacktop King is dead. Long live the ghost, the one that he will fear the most. The preacher's praying over him on a dark and self-destructive whim as the gunfire slowly fades away. I ride down to the battleground without a single goddamn sound. I stand above his body still upon this cold and lonely hill. I close his eyes against the night in the pale and unforgiving light. The war is over, brother, I say. You get to finally ride away. I hope he finds the peace he sought for all the brutal wars we fought. The Blacktop King is dead. The vultures circle overhead, a final silent serenade for the awful bloody mess we made. ones who saw the battle through. The sun is hot, the ground is hot. A single tattered playing card is on the grave of every man. A final, unforgiving plan. I stand before the shadowed club, the lonely and the central hub. Rook's cutters on the table there, in the cold and unforgiving air. A leather vest with blood and grime, a relic from a different time. I pick it up, I feel the weight of my own dark and lonely fate. I am the prisoner by default, the grinding of the asphalt salt. They're all looking at me now to leave, to plant a new and better seed. They see a savior, see a sign. This burden's absolutely mine. I stitch a patch of a bullet hole to try and make my spirit whole. I cover up the sin and stain to try and navigate the pain. A patch of a bullet hole, a story that will not be told of how I planned it, how I lied for all the brothers who have died. The king is dead, the war is won. My real and lonely race is run. I take the needle, take the thread, for the living and the honored dead. My hands are shaking just a bit, the deepest part of my own grip is being tested here and now. I make a silent sacred vow to the old present, to the new. The only thing I know is true. This patch is not a sign of might, and the pale and unforgiving light. It is a scar, it is a brand. The ruler of this broken land. I'm not a king upon a throne. I'm just a man who stands alone and tries to piece the world back right. I stitch a patch of a bullet hole to try and make my spirit whole. I cover up the sin and stain to try and navigate the pain. A patch over a bullet hole, a story that will not be told of how I planned it, how I lied for all the brothers who have died. The king is dead, the war is won. My real and lonely race is run. This leather is a different skin, the place the new lives must begin. To save this family, save this name, I had to play a sinner's game. And this new patch I wear with pride is just the place I have to hide the monster that I had to be, for all the world to never see. The preacher's dead, the president's here, the patch is on, the hole is gone, waiting for a different dawn, a colder one. call the chapters one by one, beneath the cold and dying sun, to the clubhouse scarred and broke, the final bit of whispered joke. I stand before them straight and tall, before the final hammer fall. They're angry, scared and full of doubt. They're trying now to figure out which way the wind will blow from here, the source of all their hope and fear. Some want the money, want the drugs, the company of city thugs. Some want the old way on the road, the heavy and the patient load. The club is split right down the line. This moment's absolutely mine, to be the king that Rook would be, or the man they oppress or need. A choice of final damning choice. This is a new creed written in blood, a slow and unrelenting flood of brotherhood and sacrifice. You don't have to be asked here twice. A new creed, a heavy cost for every single brother lost. We're not a business, not a brand. We're the last free man in this whole land. Oh, we are land. Oh, we are none, not at all. I tell them that the war is done, the long and lonely race is run. The days of dope and easy cash, a quick and unforgiving flash, are over. Now we're going back on a lonely and a faded track. The mafia are not our kin. The only war we'll ever win is the one against the world outside, the place we have no room to hide. Our currency is loyalty, the only thing that sets us free. Some are angry, some are proud, a restless and a weary crowd, but they all see it in my eyes, the end of all the easy lies. There's a new creed written in blood, a slow and unrelenting flood of brotherhood and sacrifice. You don't have to be asked here twice. The new creed ahead, a heavy cost for every single brother lost. We're not a business, not a brand. We're the last free man in this whole land. Oh, we are well now. Oh, we are nothing, not at all. Oh, tell them any man who wants to trade for the stupid bloody mess they've made can take his cut and walk away, starting at the break of day. But if you stay for good, as brothers, as it's understood. You stay for the patch and not the pay. That is the only goddamn way. The line is drawn, a choice is made. Whoa, the new creed spoken, the promise sealed, the truth that has to be revealed on the open road. I lead the path, a single file, for many a long and lonely mile. The road is open, clear and wide, with all my brothers at my side. I am the prayer, I am the law, the keeper of the fatal flaw. I save the club, I save the name, but I have lost the goddamn game of being the man I thought I was, of every single broken law. I've been shattered for this throne I'm riding now, completely alone, even surrounded by my men. I'll never be that man again. The preacher with his books and grace in this God-forsaken awful place. The engine hums a steady tune beneath the paling afternoon sun. It feels like peace, it feels like right, but there's a shadow in the light. There's a ghost at the handlebars with me, the man I swore I'd never be, the killer with a patient hand, the ruler of this broken land. A ghost at the handlebars, a silent guide with all the things I have to hide. He asked me if the price was right in the long and unforgiving night, and I don't have an answer for him. I feel the old present at my back, on this lonely and a faded track. His disappointment cold and deep, a promise that I couldn't keep. I feel the Rook right by my side, the foolishness of his own pride. The boy I led into a trap, a final unforgiving man. I ride with all my own damn dead, the words that were much better left unsaid. This isn't freedom, this is a cage, the final actor on a stage. The wind feels different on my skin, the place the real ride must begin. There's a ghost at the handlebars with me, the man I swore I'd never be, the killer with a patient hand, the ruler of this broken land. A ghost at the handlebars, a silent guide with all the things I have to hide. He asked me if the price was right in the long and unforgiving night, and I don't have an answer for him. To save the body of the club from the lowest and the dirtiest grub, I had to sacrifice its soul to lose all of my self-control. I became the cancer to cut out the disease, and now I'm floating on the breeze, a king of a kingdom of pure ash, a quick and unforgiving flesh. The ghost keeps riding, he doesn't speak. The road unwind, a simple thread for the living and the undead. I paid the price, I kept the creed, the harvest of a violent seed. I brought the family back in line, a dark and beautiful design. But I am not the man they see, this image of a thought. I am a ghost, a myth, a lie, beneath the cold and empty sky. My war is over, but the fight inside my soul, with all this darkness, all this light, has just begun. It'll never cease. I traded my own goddamn peace, for there's a bargain with a goal. Every mile is a confession, a final damn obsession with the man I was and what I've done beneath the cold and dying sun. This is a long ride home on broken glass and cobblestone. The war is won, the creed is saved for the awful way that I behave. The long ride home to what I fear is the ending of my final years. A man I can recognize behind my cold and weary eyes. The king is tired, the king is done. His final lonely race is run against himself. The sun is setting in the west to put my ties on test. The colors bleed across the plains, the cold and unforgiving stains of a day that's dying just like me. A final thing for me to see. I didn't do it for the past, the final unforgiving match. I did it for a memory of what a brotherhood could be. A foolish and a dying dream, a slow and unrelenting stream. But it was out and it was real, the only thing I've ever felt. This is the long ride home on broken glass and cobblestone. The war is won, the creed is saved for the awful way that I behave. The long ride home to what I fear is the ending of my final years. A man I can recognize behind my cold and weary eyes. The king is tired, the king is done. His final lonely race is run against himself. The preacher is about to fall, they're riding on a crumbling wall. The president has to live with it, the deepest part of his own grit. I am the scholar and the king, the chaos that the currents bring. I am the savior and the sin, the only war I'll ever win is the one where I just keep on riding. Long ride home to a place I've never been. The space between the man I am and the man I might have been. The ride goes on. Right where the ocean meets the land, the last free men in this whole band. A bag is strapped behind my seat, the bitter and the oh so sweet remains of the old president, the final damn testament, his dying wish, his last command. From this forgotten broken land was to be scattered on the waves of freedom that he always craved. He's been the reason for this war, the thing worth fighting and dying for. His ghost is ridden with me all this way. At the ending of this weary day, this isn't just a final ride with nowhere left for us to hide. This is a funeral release, a prayer for a final lasting peace. We're carrying old man's ashes to the sea, a final piece of history. The creed and chrome all fade to gray, to watch the bloody past away. Old man's ashes on the wind, for every way that we have sinned. This is the end of his long road, to lighten our own heavy load and let the old king finally sleep. We stand upon a lonely cliff, a timeless and a sacred gift. The ocean crashes wild and free for all a damn eternity. I open up the leather pouch, I do not bend and do not crouch. I stand up tall, I speak his name, the keeper of the dying flame. I tell the story of his life, his struggle and his endless strife. Not just for us but for the wind, the place where all the stories end and where they all begin anew. The only thing we know is true. I am the preacher one last time for this one unforgiving crime of living in a world too small before the final hammer fall. We're carrying an old man's ashes to the sea, a final piece of history. The creed and chrome all fade to gray, to watch the bloody past away. Oh, an old man's ashes on the wind, for every way that we have sinned. This is the end of his long road, to lighten our own heavy load and let the old king finally sleep. I let the ashes fly and soar, and he's not chained here anymore. He's not a patch, he's not a name, he's out of this whole damn game. He's free, and as I watch them go, the only truth I'll ever know is that I'm still here on the stone, and I have never felt so much alone. My war is won, but his is through. The ashes fly final hammer falls. There's only silence and the wind. Ride back's quiet, slow and deep, with promises I have to keep. The boys all look at me to lead, to plant a new and hopeful seed. But all I feel is empty space, in this godforsaken lonely place. Vengeance is a hollow sound, on this unholy killing ground. Stare. I am the image of a king, the chaos that the currents bring. But in my heart the engine's cold, a story that is getting old. The road ahead is just a lie, a dark and twisted bleak design. I fought to save the creed and soul, to finally you take control. But what do you do the morning after? You silenced all the mocking laughter. What do you do when you have won? This is the new king's blues, a lonely tune beneath the cold and broken moon. The crown is heavy on my head, for the living and the walking dead. The new king's blues, a heavy cost for every single thing I've lost. I am the master of my fate, but it's a little bit too goddamn late to be the man I was before. To be the man I was before. The deals come in, the threats are made, a different kind of masquerade. The mafia, the cops, the state, they all stand waiting at my gate. They want a peace, they want a war, the thing I'm not here for anymore. I have to be a diplomat, a bureaucrat, a sleek new cat. The preacher's dead, the killer sleeps, the secrets that the darkness keeps. And now the president must learn, for every single stone to turn. Without a war, without a fight, a pale and unforgiving light. This isn't freedom, this is a job. This is a new king's blues, a lonely tune beneath the cold and broken moon. The crown is heavy on my head, for the living and the walking dead. The new king's blues, a heavy cost for every single thing I've lost. I am the master of my fate, but it's a little bit too goddamn late to be the man I was before. To be the man I was before. I miss the simple, honest hate, the clarity of a sealed fate. I miss the black, I miss the white, the simple wrong, the simple right. This world of gray, of compromise, of cheap and effective lies, is a different kind of prison cell, a quiet and a private hell. And I'm the warden, the new King's Blues, the same old road, a different and a heavier load. The ride goes on.
There is a member, old and gray, who sees me at worst each day. He was my father's trusted friend, right to the very bitter end. He doesn't speak, he doesn't pry. He sees the ghost behind my eye. He knows the price, he knows the cost of everything that we have lost. One night he comes to me alone, upon his cold and rumbling throne. He says, this ain't the man you are, beneath that cold and distant star. You were a reader and a priest, the coming of the savage beast. This crown is killing you, my friend. This is the story's bitter end. He hands me a map of faded line, a friend of your father's and of mine. He's got a cabin in the pine, among the dark and twisted vines. You have one last ride left. This is the last on his mind, for a long and unforgiving while. A chance to run, a chance to be the man I am and not what they see. The last on his smile, a final choice, a quiet and a hopeful voice. To leave the past, to leave the crown, the most respected ghost in town, and find a place where I can breathe. The choice is tearing me apart, the beating of my broken heart. To leave them is to break my vow, the only thing that matters now. This family that I fought to save from a gilded and a bloody grave, but to stay is just to die beneath this cold and empty sky. To be the monster, be the king, the chaos that the currents bring. He says they're strong now, they will stand. The future of this broken land is in their hands, they'll be alright. You've earned your own and final night. Peace. This is the last on Can a man just walk away at the ending of a weary day from the very thing he fought to win, the place the real ride must begin? Can a king just disappear and banish all his doubt and fear? I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I have sung this lonely song for far too long. It's time to go. To try. Short and clear for all the ones I held so dear. The club is yours, the creed is strong, the place where you have all belonged. My war is over, my ride is done, my long and lonely race is run. I take my bite, not the praise is right, with nothing left for me to hide. Just a simple chopper, stripped and clean, the most affair, unseen scene. I ride out in the dead of night, with no real plan and no real light, just the stars above to be my guide on this final or unforgiving ride. I'm not a president or king, the chaos that the currents bring. I'm not a killer or a priest, the calming of the savage beast. I'm just a man, and the preacher fades in the pale moonlight. A final and a desperate flight is just a whisper on the wind for every way that he has sent. The preacher fades, the king is gone, just waiting for a different dawn. He left the chrome, he left the creed, the harvest of a poison seed that finally bloomed and set him free. I'll ride through towns I've never seen, a world that's new and fresh and green. I am a ghost, a no-name face in this quiet and this peaceful place. The patch is gone, the scars remain to remind me of the pouring rain of blood and whiskey, sweat and tears through all these long and wasted years. I am a story, I'm a myth, the one you should not trifle with. But the man who lived, that story's dead. The words inside my weary head are finally my own. You see, a different kind of liberty. And the preacher fades in the pale moonlight, a final and a desperate flight. He's just a whisper on the wind for every way that he has seen. The preacher fades, the king is
is gone, just waiting for a different dawn. He left the chrome, he left the creed, the harvest of a poison seed that finally bloomed and set him free. The road ahead is clear and wide, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Just me and this old beat up bike, the only thing I've ever liked. No family, no crown, no war. I don't know what I'm looking for, but for the first time in so long, where everything has been so wrong, I don't need a reason. The preacher fades, the engine hums for whatever good or bad that comes. He rides alone, he rides free. By the stories told, a legend that is getting old. They say the sons of calamity for all a damn eternity are ruled by a ghost, the king in gray, who simply vanished on that day. They say he watches from the hills for all the cheapest, coldest thrills. They say he's just a whispered name, the keeper of the dying flame. They keep a seat for him, still warm, the quiet after the long storm. They've kept the creed, they've kept the faith, the loyal and the loving wraith. That's the story that they tell in their own private heaven and hell, a myth to keep the brothers strong, where everything is gone so wrong. I am the Blacktop's ghost, a final prayer of poison on the desert air, a memory of a different time, a prevent a silent crime. The Blacktop's ghost, a faded patch, the final unforgiving match. You think I'm watching from above, testament to a brother's love, but I'm just a man who's growing old. I live in a cabin in the pines, a dark and intertwined designs. I read my books, I drink my tea, the man I always meant to be. I hear the bike sometimes at night, a distant and a fading light, a thunder rolling through the hills that cures my own and private ills. I know they're strong, I know they're free, they do not need a man like me. The preacher served his final tour, he found a different quiet war, the one against the passing years and all his foolish damn fears. I am the Blacktop's ghost, the final prayer of poison on the desert air, a memory of a different time, perfect and a silent crime. The Blacktop's ghost, the faded patch, the final unforgiving match. I think I'm watching from above, a testament to a brother's love, but I'm just a man who's growing old. One day a young boy on the road will try to lighten his own load. He'll see my bike, he'll see my face in this forgotten lonely place. He'll ask me if I've ever known I'll smile and say, son, myths are made for every final blow.